Hello, welcome to another weekly Outlook video. It is the second week of December. As usual, let us start with DXY. So DXY is the US dollar index. We'll start with the weekly time frame. If you look at this, you can see from the last time we had this reversal here. We've had this bullish move until price has finally taken this high. So this here is more of a liquidity grab. So at this point, of course, price has been bullish, and last week we were watching this. This is a key level, and this was the determining factor if we're going to have more bullish moves or we're going to have bearish moves. And as you can see, price has already violated this fair value gap. So this right here was a bullish fair value gap, which you can see price violated it last week. So this right here shows that there's a high probability of bearish moves this week. So if you're going to have a retracement, it would be nice if we get a retracement to this inversion fair value gap, then you continue with the bearish move. So that's what I see on the weekly time frame. So if you look at the daily time frame, you clearly can see, okay, this was the bearish move, and I see price has closed below this low, which is good. That is a sign that we are likely to continue with the bearish move. You can see when we had this high swept by price, clearly you can see our candle bodies did not close above this high. We just had wicking and then we had that reversal. So in this case, you can see we have a candle body closure below this low here. So that is another confluence that we can add to expect that bearish move. So of course, this is our weekly inversion fair value gap. And you can see we also have a gap here that was left behind by price. So there's a high probability that we can get to this gap. That would be nice. It's still within our weekly key level, then get that bearish move. But also if you see 1, 2, 3, we also have a fair value gap. Anytime we have a fair value gap and this gap, you mark all of it together as one PDRE. So let's look at USDCHF. So USDCHF and DXY are positively correlated. So if you're expecting a bearish DXY, then you should also expect a bearish USDCHF. So let's look at the weekly time frame. On the weekly, you can see this is just what we have. Last week we actually didn't have a lot of price action for USDCHF. So this is all I see. But remember, if you're expecting bearish DXY, then we should also expect bearish USDCHF. If DXY is going to be bullish, then of course USDCHF you would expect bullish move. So we can see here on the daily, we had this daily fair value gap here, which actually got inverted on Wednesday. But again, you can see price is back here. Because I'm looking at a high probability of having a bearish dollar, then also USDCHF should just follow suit. If you're going to have bearish dollar, then I will work with this order block here. You can see this bearish candle, we closed below this low here, and this is where price is right now. So I would use this as a bearish order block, and I would want to see price use it to push price lower. So let's look at GBPUSD next. So GBPUSD and DXY are negatively correlated. So if you expect weak dollar, then you expect bullish GBPUSD. And I like what GBPUSD did. You can see we had this weekly fair value gap, which has now been inverted. So now this is an inversion fair value gap. Just the same way we have also inverted the bullish fair value gap on the weekly time frame for DXY, we've done the same thing for GBPUSD, but in this case, it's the bearish uh, fair value gap. So it would be nice if we get that retracement to tag this inversion fair value gap, then we have that bullish move. So if you look at the daily time frame, you can see we have this bullish fair value gap, which is also in line with our weekly inversion fair value gap. So it would be nice actually if price, of course, now tags these weekly inversion fair value gap and the daily inversion fair value gap, and then we get that bullish move. And I'm watching at this high. This is the first high, and I'm also, can you see we have here relative equal highs? So these are good highs that can act as draw of liquidity for price. However, of course, guys, if price violates this daily fair value gap, then that's the first sign. That is the first sign that we are probably likely to see a bearish GBPUSD. But again, of course, If you're watching DXY, most likely you'll also see signs of a bullish DXY. So let's look at EURUSD. If you look at EURUSD, starting with the weekly time frame, you can see we have this. So this right here is an order block. If you're going to have a retracement on the weekly, that would be nice if we tag this order block before we have that bullish move. So if you look at the daily time frame EURUSD, you can see we have a daily fair value gap here, which actually price has tagged, and our weekly order block is right here. So there's still a possibility that we can actually have a retracement all the way to this weekly, or we might fail to get to this weekly and price just uses this to push price higher. So let's look at the yen basket. So the yen basket is what we use to determine the likely buyers for yen pairs. So if you look at the yen basket, this is the weekly, and of course, still looking bearish. Let's look at the daily time frame. So if you look at the daily time frame, clearly you can see this is what we had last week. If you look at this fair value gap here, you can see from, okay, so last week, Monday, price is still inside this fair value gap. We are not violating it. There's Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. And Friday we closed with a bearish momentum. I like this. So I am looking at bearish yen basket, and if you're going to have a retracement, we can use this, or we can have a deeper retracement again back to this fair value gap one last time before we continue with the bearish move. But you can see already price swept this high. So I'm still watching this order block here is also an important level. So let's look at GBPJPY. So GBPJPY and yen basket are negatively correlated. So which means if you're expecting a bearish yen, then it means you're expecting a bullish GBP JPY. And if you look at GBP JPY, of course, price has been bullish. We've had this bullish momentum from April 2025. This is the kind of price action that we've had. And our target is this high here. So this high here is July 2024 high. So this is the previous year high. I'm watching this as our clear draw of liquidity as of now. You can see last week price actually did not retrace to this fair value gap here. So we have left this as a breakaway gap. That would be nice if price does that. We leave this as a breakaway gap. Then we just have that bullish move to our target. So if you look at the daily time frame, you can clearly see last week, of course, we violated this fair value gap. But remember, we had this key level here, and also we had this daily order block here. So which, of course, price used this daily order block as support on Monday. Tuesday, we had that bullish move, Wednesday, and that's it. So currently at the moment, you can see this fair value gap, which we inverted, has now been reclaimed, and it would be nice if it acts as a reclaimed fair value gap and we use it to push price higher. So I'm watching this fair value gap as a potential that can be used to push price higher. But still, if price if we can still have bearish, if we actually violate this fair value gap, which I want to act as a reclaimed fair value gap, then there's a high probability that the market could come for these lows here and also tag our weekly fair value gap. In that case, this weekly fair value gap will not be left as a breakaway gap, but it would really be nice if price actually leaves this as a breakaway gap and we just use this fair value gap, reclaimed fair value gap, to push price high. So let's look at gold. And of course, gold last week we didn't have a lot of action. This is the kind of price action we had. And you can see price left a weekly fair value gap here, a bullish. So if you're going to, I'm watching this. So there's also a possibility we can retrace, tag this weekly fair value gap, act as support, and we use it to push price higher. So if you look at the daily time frame, you can see the weekly fair value gap is right here. So it will actually be nice if we get that, because you can see price will take this low, will also take this low and some of these lows here, because there we have liquidities here. So I'm actually watching this. This weekly fair value gap can act as a good reference point. And of course, we have this fair value gap here daily, which price has not yet violated. So there's also that possibility that we can use this and fail to get there to push price higher. But it would actually be nice if price gets here. So let's look at NAS 100. You can see NAS 100, we have that. So this is our order block right here, which price tag last week, and this is what we have. So if you're going to have a bullish NAS 100, I'm watching this high here. So let's look at the daily time frame. If you look at the daily time frame, so far we inverted this fair value gap, and on Tuesday, Wednesday price tag date, and this is the kind of price action we have. Okay, so far the only key level I see here is we have this order block and also this inversion fair value gap. So if you're going to have a retracement, then I'm watching this order block, this inversion fair value gap, and of course we have that weekly order block which was already tagged by price. So most likely I'm watching this daily inversion fair value gap, and also we have a daily order block, although this daily order block was already tagged by price. So there's still a possibility where we just open the week Monday and it's bullish. There's also that possibility where we just open the week and we'll rally up. So that's all I see for NAS 100. We don't have any clear key levels that we can use here on the daily time frame. So that is all I prepared for this weekly outlook video. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, welcome to the community. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.